I help people understand themselves, other people, and how to make the world around us better for everyone in it. I do this by listening carefully and challenging kindly. My name is Katya Veleva, and I would like to tell you where I've been and where I want to go. The first major economic crisis that I experienced was when I was 6 years old. Money lost value overnight, and the world around me told me loud and clear that I needed to have something as a job that's serious and tangible. I knew from first-hand experience that opportunities and supports were scarce around me, so I needed to manufacture drive and passion from within me. So I essentially assigned myself a passion for architecture. That got me through architecture school while working 2 part-time jobs. It was one of the hardest things that I've done in my life, but it felt like I was on track. Eventually, it became clear to me that it was entirely outside of my budget to continue my education in order to fully qualify as an architect. The loud love for design that I'd manufactured for myself had to evolve. But then I learned I had a priceless skill. Once in love with beauty, you can actually quite easily see it everywhere. So I turned my head in a direction that had space for me to grow, and I saw beauty in innovation. Dedicatedly and methodically, as I always do, I trained myself in visual programming and building information modeling. I stepped in positions, meetings, and conversations where I could grow and promote this thing that I believed could really improve the whole industry. I'm really grateful for the way this corner of the construction industry embraced me and celebrated me. It gave me opportunities to work with world-renowned architects, Alison Brooks and Grimshaw architects, just to name a few. And it was at Grimshaw's where something quite odd happened. We were at a team meeting where this architect, who's also a programmer, and I mean, he could be writing the Matrix right now kind of programmer, gave me credit for his work. I was confused. I was pretty sure I hadn't touched this file at all. And then it struck me. I'd sat down next to him and asked him a bunch of questions about his work and how it relates to other aspects of the project. And these questions had really driven the piece of work forward and made him change what he was doing. That felt really fascinating. And it continued to happen when it happened with another equally formidable person. The relief on his face, the satisfaction that I felt from helping him, this all really turned something in me. Now let's put a pin in that and add another ingredient to the concoction. Alongside my work, I've always been involved in professional development, mentoring, and diversity and inclusion initiatives. As a queer immigrant woman, my entire existence is politicized, whether I want it or not. But also, as the proactive person that I am, I've always felt a true urge to be active for justice. And I have been. I'm part of a women's organization, I support various diversity organizations, and I've always made an effort to speak up in the workplace to normalize my own human experience. The first time I did that, I prepared a presentation for an architecture company I worked at, HKS. I was telling the architectural team about the benefits of public gender-neutral toilets and the violence gender non-conforming people face because of the lack. A few months later, the company moved to new premises, and all of the facilities were gender-neutral. It felt glorious. Just a couple of years after I moved on from this workplace, I met an ex-colleague. He was someone that worked in a different building, and apart from several exchanges at events, we really didn't have that much in common. But I met him on board of a float for the London Pride in 2019. He told me that me speaking up at work about inappropriate language or people assuming things and the gender-neutral agenda altogether made him feel more comfortable being himself in this particular workplace. That was a really powerful experience for me. And it continued to happen with other people in organizations where I was consulting. I wasn't even part of the permanent staff in these cases, and people would invite me to their cultural activities and ask me and then thank me for saying some of the things that they didn't feel comfortable saying or didn't know how to say. So my passion for justice, my sharpened communication skills, and the pure joy I got out of helping people combined with a couple of major losses that I experienced in my personal life, made me truly pause and think about what I want my life and work to be about. I discovered coaching and coaching cultures, and it really reminded me about social justice organizing and indigenous governing. I knew that I needed to shift my attention from buildings, what is the context, towards the contents, people. This is why I created Blush Cloud. Blush Cloud is a company that's focused on, and I just love saying that so much, changing the atmosphere in the workplace. We spend so much of our lives focused on our work. And if we can really drive a change towards making workplaces truly inclusive and diverse, that could really benefit what we do, but also our own well-being. And this is what I'm really excited to do. If you want to learn more about the specifics of the services in Blush Cloud, I can point you to another video. Thank you so much for your attention, and let's change the atmosphere.